Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin is doing something very crazy right now because while we have some indicators that are saying the bottom has not yet been touched, there are other ones like this 43-month indicator that just flashed the first time in nearly 4 years saying, hey, this is the bottom. You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, a lot of indicators suggesting the bottom may not yet be in, but if we take a look at some others like this one that just flashed for the first time in 43 months, it is screaming, bottom is here by now. So which is it? Well, we're going to get into all of that in today's video. Before we do, like the video, join us on Twitter through Crypto Love, and of course, subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making videos longer than practically everybody else. So why don't we just start on this chart today? The most precise bottom indicator in Bitcoin just fired for the first time in 43 months. This is the realized P&L, profit and loss ratio. We have the profit dominance in green, the loss capitulation in red, Bitcoin price in white, and the realized P&L ratio just hit negative 0.35. This is the lowest reading since 2022. That was 43 months ago. This metric has marked Bitcoin bottoms with extreme precision. Not roughly, not approximately, with precision. The last time we reached this level, Bitcoin was trading at $16,000. Holy cow. What followed was a rally that made everyone who ignored the signal regret it for years. 43 months of silence, and now it is speaking again. The crowd sees pain. The data sees the exact same setup that has preceded every major reversal. History doesn't ring a bell at the bottom. It fires this indicator, and it just did. You can see down here, teeny little red dot, similar to what we saw in 2022, and also 2019, and also 2017. So major bottoming indicator, first time in 43 months, flashing once again. If we take a look at the Bitcoin sitting in loss. Right now, 10.5 million Bitcoin are sitting in loss, which coincidentally is half of the supply, just about. The last few times this happened, it marked the cycle bottom. Taking a look back here in 2022, 2023, also 2019, also 2015-ish. All these times we have the short-term and long-term holder crosses right there. Well, we see that happening with a bottom. Next, every time the US PMI has broken above this level, which is where this line is drawn right now, Bitcoin has entered a bull run. We saw this back all the bull runs before, crossing it once again. Have we finally hit bull run territory? Is this just the quiet before the storm? Because historically, summers are pretty quiet and August is generally terrible. So this could be the 2 to 3 month quiet before the storm we start seeing surging in like October, September, October-ish. Now, we do have a major regime shift coming for Bitcoin. Historically, the 2-month stochastic RSI, which is this down here on the bottom, has marked major regime shifts throughout Bitcoin's history. Another bullish crossover may not be far away. You can see the cross about to happen, and coincidentally, about the same time frame between all of these. These are 2-month candles, so 46 months total. Which brings us to another RSI, not the 2-month stochastic, but the 200 RSI. Bounced from these historically low levels. Every time it bounced before, you can see this green trampoline that we have down here on the bottom. When Bitcoin bounces from those levels, well, price bounced dramatically. Could we be setting up for the bounce once again, the bottom in? Before that happens, we would have to break a lot of these indicators that are saying, hey, the bottom is not yet in, like this, the SMII. Some metrics like the SMII or others which you've seen across X are already bottomed out. Here, that happened in February this year, so this one bottoming a long time already. But if we take a look at like March of 2024 or also June of 2022, these also marked bottoms or tops, but they were not lined up with the actual bottom or top. They were delayed by a few months. Right now, we have a little bit of a divergence, a bullish divergence forming where this is going up, price is continuing down. Could this be on the verge of changing, or is it just the bottom is not yet in, like these indicators are suggesting? Right here we have 4 charts showing why the Bitcoin bottom isn't based on previous cycles if the bottom is already in, or why we may have further down to go from right here. The first chart, the long-term holder realized price and MVRV. Right now sitting at $49,300, Bitcoin has always gone below it in all of these previous cycles. So far, we haven't even touched it. The next one, the long-term holder and short-term holder MVRV. Historically, these have converged at bottoms where they're on top of each other. So far, they have not touched yet this cycle. Taking a look at the realized price, average cost basis at $53,000. Still have not touched those levels where Bitcoin went below all of the previous cycles. And lastly, the long-term holder SOPR, 7-day moving average. Yes, we are low, but definitely not as low as we've seen in previous bottoms. So a lot of charts suggesting there could be further to go, which makes you wonder, which is it? Have we bottomed or have we not yet bottomed? Well, let's take a look at this chart. Bitcoin, the number of days spent at a profit. Can you see any patterns in this chart? Well, for the first time, Bitcoin has now had more than 850 days in its history with prices higher than today's levels. As a matter of fact, we are at levels that Bitcoin saw 5 years ago, which is disgusting. Because you could have sold Bitcoin then and it would still be the same price it was when you sold it 5 years ago. Now, at the very least, the next 3 months, ideal moment for Bitcoin to build its cause, mislead many investors, and only after that gain the freedom to rise much higher. Yeah, 3 months sounds about right because we'll be over the summer. Sell in May, go away, come back September or October. You said it, but you may miss out if you're trying to time it perfectly, because if we take a look at Bitcoin 6-month candles, now bigger candles, less accurate, but also definitely tells us the story of bigger trends going on. This is the performance after 2 consecutive negative candles. We have 1-2 negative candles, negative 18%. 1-2 negative candles, plus almost 200%. 1-2 negative candles plus 84%. Now this is 270 roughly minus 18, 250. So roughly that is about 125%, which would jump Bitcoin price well over $100,000 based on history. But you have to ask yourself, which is it? Going up, going down, going sideways? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Let me know down in the comments. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom, shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.